What was Gully on?
Gully went finals. Put on film. Oh, this is, I guess. Name more like sure.
Oh, that would have felt like a little count. Well, we are here at Jack Edwards Reserve tonight. It's NPL Victoria action yet again. We start for the third time, and we are going to have a minute of silence before we begin kickoff. Well, here we go. The third time. Will it be third time lucky for the NPL and Victorian football in general as we enter a season with hopefully a finish in sight? It's round one of the 2022 campaign here in the local leagues of Victoria, and it's a huge game that's thrown up ahead of us. It's the Oakleigh Cannons taking on Green Gully at Jack Edwards Reserve. I'm your commentator, Brandon Galgano, and with me tonight is Neil Simons. Neil, I think the last game of the season we did together last year before the lockdown was here. Was it with you or was it with someone else? I can't remember now. But welcome to the broadcast, Neil. It's great to have you back on board.
Yeah, very happy to be back on board. Of course, on NPL TV this year. New era for football in Victoria, and also a big year. National Second Division mooted for next year. Both of these clubs, you'd expect, would want to put the best squads together to try and make sure that they are right at the top for consideration for next season.
Jeez, isn't that something that really makes you quake in your boots a little bit? The idea of a national second division, only about 15 years too late, many football fans would say. But, well, we are hopefully going to be treated to a spectacle tonight. The ground surface is in pristine condition. And, well, hopefully the Oakleigh Cannons, for their sake, as we'll go through their lineup first, will be going through their paces early in that type of condition as well. Of course, Chris Taylor leads them out again, another season in charge, another year where they try and get themselves back to the heights of that grand final appearance a few years ago. And, well, it certainly will be an opportunity for them with a Green Gully side here who as well have had a great pre-season, Neil. But we'll go through the Oakleigh Cannons lineup first, and we'll just get that up for you very quickly. But again, Neil, a few changes coming into this season. For Oakleigh, we've got Feely in goals, number 1, number 4, Pantzopoulos, number 5, Dillon, number 7, Clark, number 8, Holmes, the captain, number 10, Guest, number 11, Decker, number 14, Williams, number 21, Kubalate, number 23, Fashini, and number 28, Joe Knowles, of course. Good, strong squad tonight, Neil. Certainly got enough quality to really be up there this year, especially when you look at that midfield of Guest, Holmes, and, of course, Knowles as well.
Well, the NPL Galacticos, some consider Oakleigh's midfield. However, obviously with the addition of Daniel Clark as well, who will be in the centre of defence, they are certainly shaping up to be a very, very dangerous side in both the defensive and offensive regions.
Daniel Clark, attacking midfield, I would have thought.
I mean, I think he's... Never mind, he's attacking midfield. I just mistook the man bun of various players in the Oakleigh starting 11.
I think that's Panterzopoulos as we start here with Green Gully on the left-hand side, getting towards the touchline. And a good ball in is clear, but I think it went out for a goal kick. So a frantic start for Aidan Downs and his men, of course. Another year at the helm for the former Green Gully legend, of course, partnered by Stevie Laurie in the technical area. And this year, I think, for Green Gully, it's going to be a year of promise. Go through their lineup quickly, of course. In goals, number 1, Driscoll. Number 3, Lampard. Number 5, Luke Adams, who's come across from South Melbourne. Number 10, Jego. Number 11, Kamara. Number 12, Abatu. Number 14, Fletcher. Number 16, Josh Hope, of course, formerly of the Melbourne Victory. Number 23, Doyle. Number 24, Noel Bernardo, who joins from the Dandenong Thunder. And number 25, the captain, Jeremy Walker. Very strong squad, Green Gully. They've had a great pre-season, some really strong results. You've got to say, if there's a year that they're going to push themselves right back into the top 6, it could be this one.
Well, absolutely. You look at the players that Green Gully have recruited. Noel Bernardo, who was on trial at Adelaide United in the off-season. Look at Yonucci, who they picked up from the Melbourne Victory. Yared Abatu, who played consistent minutes for Adelaide last season in the A-League. And Ethan Brooks as well, from the Perth Glory and also Gully, Croatia in Western Australia. So Green Gully looking energised, perhaps the winners of the off-season transfer window, but remains to be seen what they can do today.
Well, a high boot there from Joe Knowles, and that will be a free kick for Green Gully. Well, I've got to say, as I said before, Neil, but I'm going to appreciate it again, the surface here is looking as good as it ever has been for the Oakleigh Cannons. So plush, perfect night for football, very little wind as well. And on the chillier side, which is great for a footballer when running around, not great as much when you're standing out in the commentator's box. As the ball goes across, and now maybe an opportunity for Gully out on that far side. And in towards the touchline again. Half clearance, comes back. Shots blocked, second attempt. He's cleared away for another throw. And well, it's been a fast start, but Gully, you've got to say, have had a really positive impact on these early exchanges.
Well, you can see Mamadi Kamara, who really wowed critics last season alongside the partnership with T-Boy Kamara, who's actually found himself at Preston Lions this season. He'll be a pivotal force, obviously formerly of Adelaide Olympic in South Australia, and you know the NPL Victoria is a good breeding ground for youngsters, especially from the South Australian region.
Oh, corner kick here, and maybe an opportunity for Gully, the first set piece of the game. It's whipped in low towards the edge of the box, and it looked like something off the training ground, wasn't quite executed, and in the end it's out for a throw. And well, of course, the NPL did kick off last night at Lakeside Stadium with South Melbourne recording a massive victory in the traditional rivalry against Heidelberg United. And you've got to say, South Melbourne the last few years have certainly had their critics. It's a big year for Esteban Quintas in the South Melbourne technical area, but they really did start off with a plump. Great result for them last night.
Yeah, I think the atmosphere at Lakeside Stadium was terrific, and I think the on-pitch performance sort of justified the crowd that was in attendance. Obviously, multiple new signings getting on the score sheet. Alan Webb, Max Mikola, who's going to be a tantalising prospect this season. But let's not forget that Oakleigh Cannons caused South Melbourne quite a lot of problems last year, both in the league and the cup. South Melbourne did prevail in that FFA Cup tie here at Jack Edwards Reserve, but South Melbourne looking dangerous this season.
Well, there just is so much history when you go Oakleigh Cannons against South Melbourne, not only just with the tradition of the two clubs, but also with Chris Taylor in the technical area. Such an esteemed figure at South Melbourne, winning those championships at the start of the NPL era. Of course, his exit as well was one met with a lot of controversy. As now there's a free kick, another set piece for Gully. In towards the area, and a good header as well, but over the bar. You can just hear Gully really wanting to take this game on. The echoes of stay high and keep a high line. Really wanting to make sure that Oakleigh don't get a chance to really get themselves into this. Of course, for the Cannons, though, listen to Chris Taylor's interview during the week, and he did profess that he believes the squad's strengthened. There's a little bit more depth, which, funnily enough, isn't really a trademark of a Chris Taylor squad. He loves to keep the same 11 in as long as he possibly can. So it's interesting to hear maybe that, you know, with the likes they've got on the bench, and we can go through that quickly tonight. Oh, is that? Looks like it will be a free kick. Lachlan Hart, of course. Jacob Eliopoulos was a late scratch tonight. Scott Lockhead, Christopher Lucas, of course, a very famous name here in NPL Victoria. And Nick Nyagoran, an interesting one, someone who really showed so much promise back in the day at Richmond and at Moreland Zebras. But injuries really got in his way. Very interested to see how he goes at a big club like Oakleigh, especially with the uncompromising frame rather that he has. He's such an imposing striker.
Absolutely. I remember distinctly commentating one of...
Oh, strong challenge there. And the goalkeeper might have copped a boot somewhere there, but he's won himself a free kick off Joe Knowles.
Well, there is Liam Driscoll, who had interest from the Perth Glory when he returned to Australia. Same with Bayswater City in the NPL WA. But he's of a famous club in England known as Reading FC. Played for the 23s for a number of years. Went on loan to Yeovil Town. And, Reading have also produced a goalkeeper by the name of Adam Federici. So we'll see if he can be the Adam Federici of the NPL Victoria.
Big shoes to fill, of course. The unfortunate retirement of Adam Federici on the eve of the A-League season due to injury was certainly a not exactly the end of the career that he deserved. Such an esteemed figure, playing in England for many years in the Premiership and the Championship. This long ball goes over the top. Clark tries to contest it. Big header back there from Gully. Now an opportunity here for Decker. Oakleigh just starting to get a little bit of traction. They are famous slow starters under Chris Taylor. They are ones that usually do get themselves going after 5 to 6 rounds. It always is their challenge. Of course, their big run home in 2019 was really one which started off very controversially in terms of their form. Be interesting to see just how long it takes for them to get going. As the ball's up and under there, bit of a contest. Oakleigh comes away with it. He really was a find last year in that midfield, even though it wasn't a full season. I think he really established himself and really is the glue that I think holds those two stars in Tyson Holmes and Joe Guest together. That ball goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Oakleigh, interesting player. He's quite young in terms of age. Obviously, he's only 22 years of age, and to have such a commanding role in a very good side that finished second on the table last year prior to the postponement or suspension of the league, as you will. But obviously he arrives from quite a prestigious club in Göztepe in Turkey's first division, played in their youth setup there. So he's going to be a pivotal player. I will not be surprised if he emerges as one of the top midfielders this year in the NPL.
Long ball over the top. Dylan just backed off there on that. Clark tried to win it. And just another long ball over the top. Williams will chase it down. And well, he's just bundled over there in the corner. A little bit of afters as well from Fletcher. So I get a little bit of the commentator's jumbo out of the way. It's been a while now. Didn't get a full year last season. As now Feely stands over the ball here, the veteran goalkeeper. High and long. Clark underneath it. One back well. Now an opportunity here as the ball goes out towards the left. Bernarda putting on the pressure there. He really is a huge signing. Had such a great time last year at the Dandenong Thunder, scored some crucial goals, was dangerous every week. You just feel in a club that's challenging a little bit higher up the table, he seriously could do some damage in front of goal. It's going to be an interesting year for him. Noel
Bernarda, whenever you hear the name, you just get tingles. I mean, he scored in the FFA Cup for Hume City. He's played for 3 clubs in the space of 6 months, almost 4. Obviously, as I mentioned before, he was on trial at Adelaide United following his stint at Hume City, in which he scored against Port Melbourne to win the game for them in the round of 32. And then he was mistakenly sent off, which was very, very controversial. Obviously, he did play in that tie against Melbourne City, but he is a massive acquisition from Green Gully, sort of the cherry on top to their off-season signings.
Oakleigh with a bit of a sustained period of possession, but Dylan's really well closed down there by Josh Hope, who makes his return to senior football, of course. Had a little bit of a break following his exit from the Melbourne Victory. A player who I think at A-League level showed snippets of real quality, but also maybe just didn't quite get that consistent level of football required to establish himself at that level. There certainly were signs and games where you thought this kid's got something, But maybe a drop into this division, playing regularly at senior level and maybe getting an enjoyment factor back in football, which from what I understand was one of the reasons why he took a break after leaving the Melbourne Victory. Maybe we could see another special type of player come out following this season.
Josh Hope, I think, look, he's played 41 games across all competitions, played 13 games in that 18-19 season, and I think was unfairly maligned by Victory fans. I think he was, as some would call, the whipping boy of that Marco Kurtz era as well, the 1920 season. But it's good to see him back in football. He spent some time in Tasmania. Obviously, he's formerly of the AIS, so he's got the potential, he's got the talent, and I think really this could be the season in which he really emerges as a consistent member of one of the better squads in the NPL.
Well, I think talent was never his issue. It was probably a little bit more of an attitude. I wouldn't say issue, but maybe the consistency of performance. But again, nothing like getting in to an NPL season and just playing your heart out for 26 to 27 weeks and seeing where you go from there. It really will be his challenge now to dictate at this level. There's been so many players over the years that had that type of talent, and they dropped into the NPL and struggled, and we never really saw them again. Probably one you just mentioned before in T-Boy Kamara. He burst on the scene in the A-League, didn't quite establish himself. They never really was able to get even into the top flight in Victoria, and there's even other ones as well over the years. Another set-piece opportunity here, though, for Gully. Whipped in towards the back post. It's a good header up. And now the referee has blown for offside. Andrew Memorakis. That will be Oakleigh Cannons' ball, and they do play out of the back. The long ball from Pantasopoulos. Headed clear. Holmes battling. Was he fouled? Referee says no. Knowles. Guest gets it wide there to Decker. Cuts inwards onto his right. Wade Decker just looking for space. Couldn't quite find the pass though. A long ball over the top from James Doyle, who of course himself has established himself into this Green Gully side, coming across from Western United, where he didn't play any senior games, had a little bit of time in the youth team. But was before that at Eastern Lions, and for a young lad, he's only, I believe, 20 to 21 now. For a young lad, he's really an imposing figure and someone who has a lot of potential if he can get himself into these games.
Well, you can see why James Doyle impressed the likes of, obviously, John Aloisi at Western United. He obviously signed there in the off-season and was mooted as sort of a first-team player, but only made the solitary bench appearance in the FFA Cup against the Wellington Phoenix. So he's at Gully, and I'm sure that many clubs, and perhaps West United, might regret the decision to let him go.
Well, now it's Bernarda just looking to twist his way in towards the area, but again, Oakleigh do close down quickly. Long ball over the top. And that's going to be a Green Gully ball, despite the protests from Wade Decker. Thrown long by Lampard, headed clear. Good flick in there as well. Abatu just couldn't quite win it. He's in there again this time though, gets it down. Hope onto the ball here, looks forwards to Fletcher, but just couldn't quite keep it. It's Aaron Williams now, who was another one who joined midway through the season last year. Only got a few games in before the lockdown ended 2021 campaign. Hope, Fletcher, and a good press there from Williams.
I think Oakleigh are just struggling to sort of play out of that defensive block and really create in transition. Green Gully more effective through the central areas. I think Niall Bernardo's viewed that as that striking prospect that they really need to get the feet to. Obviously, he scored 12 goals last season in 17 appearances, which is remarkable figures for someone of, Dandenong Thunder's quality who we had an okay season last season, but didn't really set sparks alight. So I think it's up to Gully to play through that central area, but for Oakleigh just to get within transition. Josh Hope's causing them plenty of problems.
Long throw taken there again, headed away. Now it's Gully who just gets it under control. Goes back there to Feely. Now the long ball over the top. Flick down there, Knowles. Well, one back there by Kamara, and his turn of pace there is lively, to say the least. He gets in towards the touchline. Well marshalled out there. And again, the Oakleigh Cannons looking to just try and compact the space. A lot of speed in behind that Gully have. Ball goes over the top, but Feely with a routine claim. So we are 16 and a half minutes in here, and still no real chances on goal. It has been a relatively cagey start. So Lampard under pressure. Hope resets. Now played across to Luke Adams, of course, who so much experience, the former South Melbourne central defender, championship winner in the NPL. He's had his run of injuries over the last few years. Did play a little bit more of a bit part role last season at South Melbourne. Wasn't really as consistently in the first 11 as in years gone by. Long ball over the top again. No chance for Holmes to go onto that. And he's out for another throw. Of course, just last week, another exciting development for the Oakleigh Cannons was the council's grant to redevelop this Jack Edwards Reserve precinct. Looks like the plans are quite extensive as well from what I've seen. A new pavilion, new social club, and a big link with Chisholm United, who of course will be running their women's program. They also have a feeder club in State League 4 East, which is now being coached by former Avondale coach Anthony Barbieri, who has returned to the coaching dugout, albeit surprisingly with Chisholm. So I think it all just shows that there is obviously some quite serious ambitions to get that club up the leagues. Of course, formerly managed by an ex-NSL legend in John Canasoulis, who is here tonight out in the stands, and just saw him as we're walking in. Well, he's a frequent around these grounds. As that ball goes out into that left-hand side. Now it's Knowles. Can he get a cross in here? It's deep. Decker just couldn't quite get onto it. Fletcher on the turn. Hope. Good little change of direction there from Josh Hope. Under pressure there from Gully. Cuts inside. Still Hope here. And that's a good bit of football as well. Fletcher blocked well there by Holmes, who just couldn't keep it under. Probably the best move of the game so far.
Josh Hope, you know how important body positioning is for a midfielder. Josh Hope just with a beautiful feint, got the ball in transition, and now here comes Yared Abatu.
Abatu in towards the area now. Beats his first man in Decker. Cuts it across the face, but again cleared. And the referee's given another corner.
Well, as I mentioned, it's all about body positioning within football, and I guess more broadly, transitional phases of play. If Green Gully can continue to do that, they'll continue to get these corners on this left side.
So another opportunity here. Whipped in towards the middle. Good headed clearance. Now it's Knowles. Out onto the left-hand side. Ball played forward. Guest. One-on-one with his man. Slips it forward to Clark, who's brought down. And the referee has given a throw in there. So play on, and now it's Guest. Back to Clark. Oakleigh yet to really create a goal-scoring opportunity. Holmes, always danger when he's on the ball in these areas. Now it's Guest. Back out wide. Clark gets the ball into the area, but just no one there to apply a finishing touch. Knowles whips it in towards the back post. Clark underneath it, heads it down. Guest flicking on again. Headed clear, now away. Oakleigh again looking to come forward. Holmes, who's wearing the armband tonight, of course, after Tom Matthews did move on in the off-season. The veteran defender who's moved out to NPL 3 with North Sunshine, I believe, but stands to be corrected as now the ball comes forward here. Bernarda, bit of danger, gets the ball out wide. Whipped in by Walker, but easy hands for Feely. And again, just no real cutting edge in front of goal for either side.
Although you saw Oakleigh's first foray into the 18-yard area through Joe Guest, and just this little draw out his man, created space on the wing. But more of that from Oakleigh can really break up this Green Gully defence. They've got quite the partnership. I think James Doyle, you know, when you see an attacker or defender or midfielder for that fact, wearing the shirt tucked, you know they mean business. So James Doyle has certainly come to play tonight.
Shirt tucked and the Puma Kings. You'd almost be forgiven for thinking that he was playing out in the mid-90s. James Doyle, for a 20-year-old that wasn't even barely breathing at that point. It's a real throwback to an era gone by. Nowadays, you see centre-backs rock up in their Predators or bright orange likes of those. Hope. Challenged again, so out for another throw. Decent crowd in attendance tonight as well, of course, for a round one fixture on a Friday night. Always a decent occasion. Bernarda on the turn. Chance to drive, gets it out wide. Now Fletcher, one-on-one with his defender. Fletcher cuts onto his left, has a strike. Oh, and just put it across the face. Quite unlucky there for Matthew Fletcher, but again, another opportunity is we do go around the grounds, and at the moment, it's the Melbourne Knights leading in the Croatian derby by 2-0. A huge start to that one.
Well, yes, it's quite a good crowd down at Dandy City. Obviously, both sides raring for a new campaign. Knights with a fantastic squad that they've assembled this season. And Dandy City, well, they'll look to avoid relegation, but not a great start for them, down 2-0 as it stands.
It's the long ball forward, headed away. That time by Walker, another experienced campaigner. And you think about A-League experience in this squad, there are so many really that have just played a significant amount of games at that level. Walker, of course, being one of them. I've already mentioned a few of the other ones with, of course, Josh Hope and Abatow, and of course, James Doyle just joining from Western United, albeit not with many senior games. Gianluca Iannucci as well did feature on and off with the Melbourne Victory. Of course, spent time at Melbourne City as well. Another free kick here for Gully. On the way back to the goalkeeper from Adams. Long ball over the top this time, but again, no real danger. Just got to say, probably been a bit disappointed with both sides. Not really looking to play between the lines. It has been quite direct. Of course, being the first game of the season, there are sometimes a few nerves, but with the quality on show, you probably maybe want to see a little bit more play between trying to find the feet of the likes of Tyson Holmes or Joe Guest, or of course the other side, Bernarda and Josh Hope or Luke Jego in a high advanced area. It's maybe just what we've been lacking tonight, a bit of that combination play.
Yeah, I think the cautious approach from both sides is understandable. I think they're definitely trying to figure each other out. I think you look at Green Gully, for example, they're always played a pragmatic style of football. I think it's really hard to sort of figure out how they're going to play. They've had an interesting off-season, Green Gully, only 5 wins and 5 draws last season. So they're looking to really stamp their authority. But as I mentioned, I think it could be a moment of brilliance that really opens the floodgates.
Well, this could be one. Guest has a strike and just puts it wide. Well, Joe Guest, of all the players, you talk about moments of brilliance, and he's certainly the one to do that. Though it may have been Daniel Clark as well that was around there. But all the less, a good drive forward and the first real snapshot on goal from the Oakleigh Cannons. Doyle goes high and long over the top. Jago chasing it, headed down again. Now Daniel Clark. Given away, and again for Gully. Chance to play forwards, Adams. Kamara looks to play forwards here. Hope, who's really started to come into this game. Jago gets it across. Fletcher. Overloading movement there on the left-hand side. Now it's Lampard who can size up across. Good defending there from Knowles. And again, Green Gully with it in an advanced area. Jago. Of course, spent a significant time of his junior career at this club. Luke Jago, of course, the brother of current Socceroo James, did go overseas as well for a few years, playing in the lower leagues in the likes of Norway, before coming back to Melbourne. Ball underneath it, Guest gets it down. Big switch of play, asking a lot of Fashini, asking too much of the veteran left back. You call him a veteran now, Matthew Fashini, of course, another one who played a fair few games at the Melbourne Victory in the early 2010s. Then came into the NPL, had a successful career at South Melbourne, came with Chris Taylor across to the Oakleigh Cannons. Kamara goes back, pass intercepted. Clark, who's really playing that false nine style role tonight, dropping in to get the ball and trying to get this game moving higher up the ground. Williams, he's got a bit of space to cross here. Deflection on it. Headed well away by Doyle. Comes back to Kubalay, but Kamara just twisting and turning, doing a little bit too much though, as Decker has found the corner! And well, it is a wonderful strike from Wade Decker, a man who so often for Oakleigh has stepped up in the right moments, and that is a real moment of quality to give the Cannons the lead in their first match of the season. They're underway for 2022. It's 1-0.
A moment of pure finesse. Wade Decker, a key member of this Oakleigh Cannons front line, has delivered once more. 1-0 here at Jack Edwards Reserve. And who else but the former Melbourne City marksman?
Well, what a finish it was. And we just saw there again, maybe there was a little bit of a sloppy giveaway from Kamara. He certainly was going towards the referee to remonstrate about it, but I didn't see much wrong with the challenge. He was maybe a little bit overzealous with the way he tried to flick the ball over a few players. And at this level, you really do get punished. And oh, did Wade Decker punish him there. What a great finish from the now 27-year-old who's really been in these leagues for such a long time. Started off at Northcote as a youngster, of course, had his time at Melbourne City, scored in the Hyundai A-League for Melbourne City against Sydney FC. Came back here to Oakleigh, and ever since has just been such a reliable goal scorer. And well, it's just the start that Chris Taylor would have wanted. We said they're notoriously slow starters in their seasons, and this is exactly what he'd want to kick-start their campaign.
Well, it was very cagey opener, but I think we're seeing more transitional play, a lot more open both sides are, as we see Oakleigh in transition here with Joe Guest.
Ball comes out wide now. Knowles under some pressure here. Back and across. Opportunity to reset the plays. Neil, we'll go back to you.
I think it really speaks volumes of Green Gully's recruitment plans and opportunities as well. In the starting 11, there is no player over the age of 30. So within the NPL Victoria, it's usually a haven for more experienced players. But not Green Gully. They are going young, and they're so far holding their own despite conceding the opener.
Wade Decker, that was his 47th senior goal. Only Matt Thurtell, who of course isn't in the squad tonight, has scored more senior goals in that squad. So again, that's been scored, of course, in 130 matches. So a reliable return for a player who does play through midfield, who does often spend a lot of time on the wing and is such a good build-up player. It's now a chance for Dylan to drive forward on the ball. Williams, high set area. Good little flick backwards there, and well, free kick given. And maybe Oakleigh just starting to get on top of Gully here.
We can see in Gully, the defensive line is much lower since they've conceded that goal. I think it's really showing here. Some wonderful interplay there from Joe Knowles. And we see Joe Guest here on the set piece. Provided some moments of brilliance before, but could maybe his set piece abilities demonstrate that brilliance?
Well, an opportunity here. Guest whips the ball in towards the back post. Strike comes back and fired well over the bar there and out for a goal kick. Well, 31 and a half minutes gone, and Green Gully, as much as they've had a few promising moments, they haven't really created enough in the final third. There hasn't really been enough concerted possession of the ball, as we have had another goal around the ground, and it's a third for the Melbourne Knights against Dandenong City. Well, it's looking like a start that they would have dreaded. Doyle under pressure. He's done really well to keep the ball there, James Doyle. Very, very confident under pressure. As Jago drops in to get it. Cross now here to Doyle. Lampard. Fletcher again, under pressure there is Williams, and Fletcher is not happy about it, but it is a free kick.
Aaron Williams has impressed me so far on this left-hand side. I think, look at the quality he has. Obviously, his brother Reese is under a big injury cloud now, but he's certainly playing his heart out for the family. Obviously, Perth-based and formerly of Preston Lions as well. So he arrived mid-season, as you mentioned, but he's certainly providing a lot of flexibility, also dropping into that midfield area for much of this contest.
Comes across here. Now an opportunity for Dylan. Looks to find the feet of Williams again, who just bounces it inwards. Knowles, so confident under pressure. Strong challenge, though, from Lampard. And now a chance here for Jago. Gets it out wide. Fletcher. Williams got in with the initial challenge. Jago still in the ball, though. Switches the play nicely. Kamara just unable to lock that ball in. And that's probably where a bit of the frustration lies with Kamara. He's such a combative player, so direct, so dangerous. But maybe in those moments, a little bit rash on the ball. He gave away that opportunity for the open-up. He might be just a little bit frustrated with his lack of consistency as he started this game.
Yeah, Kamara's been a little bit disappointing. He's looking good on the ball, just dead giveaways sometimes.
Ball comes out again. Now maybe a chance. Edge of the area. Tried to find Holmes. Now it's Hope, who has been a bit of a shining light. Kamara, just mentioned before. Again, gives the ball away, but this time he can claim a foul. As we tick in towards the final 10 minutes of this first half. Now the ball out wide. Lampard whips it in towards the middle. And deflection there just fell more invitingly for Feely than opposition player there. Now the long ball over the top. Again, an opportunity for Gully to maybe come forwards with it. Can they find that opportunity to create? It's been a compact Oakleigh Cannon side behind the ball tonight. They've done really well to frustrate Gully. Hope. Switch of play, Lampard brought down, and the referee gives a free kick. So again, another opportunity for a set piece here for Green Gully.
Gully looking a bit more energised here. I think the main creative outlet is Josh Hope. He's looking a different player to what we saw in the A-League already. It's been technically his first competitive fixture since that 2020 season, but he's looking pretty lively, and good to see him back in football, and Luke Jago on the set piece.
Goes left. Lampard can whip the ball in low. It was dangerous, but well defended there by Holmes. Knowles with a half-cooked clearance there. It does stay alive. Reset now. So a chance for Green Gully to come across the ground. Hope. Looks for feet. Just managed to be kept alive by Lampard, but one back by Holmes. It's a good ball over the top, and Clark is onside. This is a big chance here for Oakleigh. It's Daniel Clark who makes it 2. And despite the cries of appeal from the Green Gully coaches, it's Daniel Clark's first goal for the Oakleigh Cannons, and it's 2-0 here at Jack Edwards Reserve.
That looked very, very offside. You could see the Gully defenders remonstrating with the referee, Andrew Memorakis, and he's had plenty of controversies with that offside call in the A-League as recently as this week. Was the assistant referee for the Adelaide United Melbourne City clash, in which there were 3 disallowed goals. Could an offside call bring some trouble for himself? Doesn't look like it, and the goal will stand, but we will see if we can get a replay on it for you.
Well, I mean, look, to be fair, the assistant was remonstrating that there was some movement where the Green Gully player stepped forwards, as, of course, Daniel Clark stepped past him. And it was borderline. I mean, he may well have been onside. The referee, to be fair to him, or the assistant rather, was right in direct line with it. And there was no one that had a better view than him, and he was adamant that he was onside. But to be fair, you've got to say, Green Gully will be so disappointed with the way that they were split there. They were really disorganised. And, of course, allowed the opportunity for Clark to get in behind. Still a great finish, though. He still had a lot to do. And so much composure. And what a boost to his confidence that will be, of course, joining from South Melbourne. Ball's run out of play. Well, we're just trying to source a replay here internally. The camera doesn't really give us the view required. I mean, unfortunately, the cameras haven't really caught the line. I guess we're just going to have to trust the word of the assistant referee.
I guess you could call it pure football with the absence of video assistant referees. It's the referee's decision stands, and so be it.
Ball played forward to Kamara here. Is there an instant response for Gully? Kamara cuts in towards the area, but well defended by Foschini. Out for a corner. You got to say, I don't know about you, Neil, but the amount of Premier League and A-League I'm watching, you're almost waiting for a VAR to come out when that ball went through and the ball's in the net. You're just waiting for that moment where they call it back and they wait and they come back and say he was offside by a toenail. But, of course, we're not quite that technically savvy just yet here in the NPL. And, well, for Green Gully here, a really important next 5 minutes. Is there a time or moment for them to get back into this game? Whipped in low again towards the edge of the box. It's deflected and away. They've tried that corner a few times. Walker intercepted. Clark's there, just flicks it back. Knowles does well to keep it under pressure. A good reset there. Holmes with the switch. Given away by Foschini. Kamara. Knowles again, who's done a lot of defensive work tonight. late challenge there from Bernardo. That's a bit of frustration. And he won't get a card on this occasion, it looks like. But he's certainly getting told that will be the last before he does see a yellow.
Temper's starting to flare here, as you would expect. A controversial decision. I guess we'll have to see the aftermath of this fixture, how pivotal that goal from Daniel Clark proved to be. And I guess on an aside, Daniel Clark to get off the mark in his first game competitively for the Cannons is huge.
So Dylan, 4 minutes to play of normal time in this first half. It's clipped high over the top. Lampard underneath it with plenty of time. Now played out wide to Walker. Hope, Kamara, chasing after it again, but there just hasn't really been that link-up, has there? They've had a lot of the ball in the middle third. They haven't been able to penetrate in the final, though. Just has seemed the likes of Bernardo and Kamara, especially Fletcher, have all been quite isolated when they have gotten the ball. Oakleigh have just been so good at flooding numbers around it defensively. That really is a true testament to the way that Chris Taylor's sides play. They're always really well organised. They don't concede many goals, and they've got a lot of talent often to make things happen at the other end.
Chris Taylor definitely gets the most out of his players. I mean, Oakleigh Cannons obviously finished second, as we mentioned before, but in a final series, hypothetically, they would have been up the top of the clubs that could potentially have won the title. But I have to say, Oakleigh have really, really ramped it up since the 20th minute or so, looking much more fluid, confident as well. Oscar Dillon especially has been a pivotal player in the heart of defence, obviously formerly of Western United and Brisbane Roar as well.
Good composed ball out of the back there, but semi-given away. Now this is where Kamara can be dangerous. Driving at his man, beats Kubalay. Kubalay with a good recovery, but Kamara gets a shot off. It was scuffed, edge of the area again for Hope! Oh, it's a great finish! And it's Josh Hope. What a start to his NPL Victoria career. A half volley on the edge of the area, and he absolutely slotted it into the corner. Nick Feely couldn't get down quickly enough, and that is exactly what Gully needed to get back into this game.
Allow me to reintroduce myself, Josh Hope. What a reintroduction. He hasn't played competitive football in almost 2 years, and it's like he never left. Joshua Hope. What a stunning strike.
Fantastic hit there from the victory man. And, well, again, just saw finally. Oh, here we go again. Given away by Williams. Fletcher cuts inside. Bernardo twisting and turning. And, well, disaster avoided there for Oakleigh. Gully certainly have perked up here now. Decker. Big switch of play. Knowles under pressure from Lampard. Kubalay. Looked to play forwards, but intercepted again. Jago tried to get back towards Hope. Couldn't quite win the ball. Guest. Fiery end to this first half at the minute. Clark. Given away. Jago finds Hope. And you just feel these next few minutes are going to be critical to this contest. Kamara starting to find his groove. Jago slips it inside towards Fletcher. Just couldn't quite get the ball under control. And cleared away for a throw. Good moment here of pressure from the Green Gully side here.
Or how the game ebbs and flows. Green Gully immediately on the attack after that goal, and you could sense that they're sniffing around for a second as we come to the closure of this first half.
Hope. Ball intercepted that time. Knowles. Great challenge there from Lampard. Wins the ball cleanly. Whips the ball in low, but Holmes is there. And with plenty of experience, just able to carry it out of that dangerous area. But again, it's Gully on the ball. Buoyed by this last few minutes. If they could get a goal, it really would turn this contest around. Lampard. As the board is up for additional time, and it's 2 minutes to be added on. Clark slips it in front of Guest. Driving at Doyle. Doyle strong though. Got to say, he's had a really good first half in his league debut for Green Gully. Switch of play there from Jago. Now it's out in this wide position again. Whipped in towards the middle, but Feely off his line with confidence. And that is exactly what Oakleigh needed, just to slow this down and get it to the half-time whistle.
I think it's a true testament to Green Gully. They looked almost down and out, lacking confidence on the ball, struggling to penetrate through the areas, but now they're playing between the lines through transition. Josh Hope with an absolute banger of a goal. Half volley. That will be replayed around the grounds. We've seen 2 tremendous goals in this fixture so far, so plenty to come in the second half.
Handed clear by Dylan again. Holmes gets it down. Williams plunges the ball forward. Decker. Cuts inwards there. He's got Clark higher up. Just goes to Knowles. Out for another throw. We're inside the final minute of stoppage time here. Oakleigh will be happy just to keep the ball in this area. Is there maybe one last chance in this first half? Comes across. Kamara wins it. Hope. Kamara turns out of pressure well and now driving into that space. Really coming into the game is Kamara. But that time again, just lacking the execution. And that might just get us to the half-time whistle. Andrew Memorakis looking at his watch and will blow, I reckon, as soon as this throw's taken. It's half-time. Well, it certainly became frantic towards the end of that first half after a cagey start from both sides. The Oakleigh Cannons through Wade Decker and then Daniel Clark on his debut, giving themselves a 2-0 lead midway through the opening exchanges. But a late strike from Josh Hope on his debut for Green Gully in the NPL Victoria has given the away side some hope. And, well, they're certainly in this now, Neil. A big second half to come.
Massive second half to come. Green Gully looked like they had the momentum. Can they maintain that in the second half? Can Oakleigh manage to grab a third and kill off this game? Remains to be seen. Make sure you stay tuned live on NPL TV in the NPL Victoria Round 1 clash between Oakleigh and Green Gully.
Well, we are back at Jack Edwards Reserve, and it's currently the Cannons leading by 2-1 against Green Gully. And, well, we've seen Oakleigh straight back out of the blocks, ready to commence. Green Gully still taking their time to get out on the pitch. But that gives us a little bit of a moment, Neil, to recoup, refresh. Definitely don't need to cool down, though. Certainly, Mother Nature's done that for us tonight. At least this time we're not sprinting around after trying to get a hot jam donut. I was remembering that story last year.
That was wild.
Trying to call a game after recovering a 500-metre sprint from the Oakleigh canteen. The Savlakis are just too good, mate. That line is massive at halftime. Welcome back to the broadcast, Neil. What are your thoughts on the second half?
I think it'll be a really intriguing one. I think Green Gully actually making some changes at the moment. So I believe the team manager of Green Gully is speaking to the linesman. So to the fourth official, my apologies. And
I think it's Fletcher that looks like he's come off.
And Gianluca Iannucci is going to come on. So he is interesting. So Iannucci, about a year ago, was scoring goals in the Asian Champions League. A well-won victory against Beijing Guan. So I will be interested to see who's come off for him.
Well, I think it looks like Fletcher has made way, and Iannucci is going to come on for his Green Gully debut. Of course, has spent time at Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory, scored those famous goals in the Asian Champions League, of course. I remember him fondly. We played a friendly against Melbourne City's youth at Hampton East Brighton a few years ago, and I've still got it on video, double nutmegging my right back. Well, certainly then we knew he had some ability, that's for sure, as he does come on for Fletcher. So a big moment there. I'm not sure if it was tactical or forced, but either way, it will be interesting to see how he gets along in this second half. Already seen one former Hyundai A-League lad in Josh Hope get a goal tonight for Green Gully. They'd love for it to be a second. We are underway again in the second period, though. And Oakleigh really putting Gully right under pressure to start. It was a topsy-turvy first half. Of course, Oakleigh got themselves 2-0 up and looking really comfortable. But that goal right at the end of the first half from Josh Hope, and then a little bit of a foray flurry forward from Gully in those final exchanges, definitely offered hope that they are certainly not done yet tonight.
Absolutely not. I think Green Gully is starting to figure out Oakleigh's transitional players. Actually, Daniel Clark is on the ball here.
Well, into the box, Knowles. This would be the perfect start for Oakleigh. And he tests the goalkeeper, but not enough to find its way in at the near post, and Green Gully come away.
Well, then Liam Driscoll becoming very strong. Mamadi Kamara on the right-hand side.
Oh, we can't even get you a word in, Neil. 10-10 at the moment as Kamara whips it towards the back post, but Iannucci was arriving, couldn't quite get there. And again, out for a throw.
Well, let's hope that there's no transitional play while I am trying to make my special comments, but as I mentioned before, Liam Driscoll, he's standing very strong. He hasn't, I mean, I wouldn't consider him the tallest goalkeeper of them all, but he definitely has the ability. I mean, you don't last years in a academy of the likes of Reading for no reason. Obviously, Reading have produced a lot of good players over the course of the past couple of years. But he will be a welcome addition to the NPL Victoria, and then despite conceding 2 goals, one of which was unsavable.
Luke Jego strikes it. And fires it wide. Good little sider there for Gully.
Well, Luke Jego, we know the capability he has. His brother Jimmy has recently earned a move to KS Open, who I believe in the administration has another Australian by the name of Tim Cahill. Assistant coach is Michael Valkanis as well. So plenty of links around Luke Jego, and he's looking very lively, of course, in that central midfield position.
Long ball over the top, flicked on there from Clark. Run through to the goalkeeper. Well, you've got to think, what was the talk at halftime about from Stephen Downs and his coaching staff? Of course, it was a matter of maybe starting a little bit slow for Gully, but they certainly came into it towards the end of the game. One lad they'd love to get a little bit more in dangerous areas is this boy on the ball, Kamara. Very direct on it, maybe just lacked a bit of that refined product in tight areas at times. So Walker with the throw. Good forward pass there. Bernardo wrestled off it. Still got it. Hope. Great forward touch there from Hope. Under some pressure now, Yanucci. His first involvement off the bench. Tries to get a ball in towards the area. It's blocked. Gets it back. Yanucci clips it inwards. Headed away. Now maybe another opportunity here for Gully. Whip towards the back post. And that was not far away. A good sider on goal. And the great start to the second period for the away side.
Well, Yaradabatu, he's been involved with quite a lot of clashes in that first half, and really coming into his own here. It's definitely the toughest state league he's played in. He's played across NPL South Australia, NPL Northern New South Wales as well. Had a brief stint at Newcastle Olympic, but he's in a defensive midfield role and he's performing quite well.
Well, of course, as we said, a little bit of A-League experience last year certainly has refined him. Big, strong boy in the centre of the park. Being quite uncompromising in a challenge. Now Holmes flicks it forward. Again, one back by Gully. Adams. Cool camera, that was a heavy clash. I think Matthew Frascini was a little bit smart there with the way he leaned into that challenge, and maybe a little bit too smart. Now Adams. Looks long. Jego chasing. Pantzopoulos, though, got across. Just did enough to get it back to Nick Feely, the veteran goalkeeper, 39 years of age. Goes high and long forward. Clark will chase, but Driscoll off his line. Oh, set a task there by James Doyle. Handled it well. Lampard, cool and calm on it. Long ball over the top. Camera gets it down under pressure. Turns inwards there, but given away. Knowles on the ball. Camera fouls and wins a free kick to Joe Knowles. And while we look at the benches tonight, and we did mention during the halftime break, Neil, the strength of the Green Gully bench, and maybe for Oakleigh, the lack of depth on theirs. We've still got the likes of Yanucci's already come on, likes of Matthew Crooks as well on the bench, and a few others that can certainly cause some problems. Whipped in by Guest. Headed away at the back. And blocked there by Dillon and out for a goal kick.
Well, as you mentioned, Gully do have a lot of depth on the bench. Obviously Crooks, Nicholas Georgopoulos, another youngster, only 20 years of age. And obviously they've got Ethan Brooks as well, who was, as I mentioned before, formerly of Guelph Croatia and Perth Glory's NPL side. But let's not discount the bench of the Oakleigh Cannons as well. Lachlan Hart, Scott Lockhead, Christopher Lucas, who's arrived from Altona the mid-last season after their dismal start to the campaign, and Nicholas Niagoran, who's arrived from NPL2 side Moreland Zebras. Lucas and Niagoran certainly will be two players who can cause problems. As Yanucci, first side on goal. And just not quite able to find the target there. So 6.5 minutes into this second period. And it's a good start for the Oakleigh Cannons, you've got to say, from their perspective. They've been solid enough. They were always going to expect Gully to come out firing, especially carrying the momentum into the break. Of course, that age-old saying, if you don't want to cop a goal right before half-time. Certainly changes the team talk of Chris Taylor, and I'm sure would have just been professing some calmness and experience to see out the start of this second half. But Kamara now, one-on-one with his defender. In towards the box. He's done well there to win a corner. Certainly shown some signs of promises, Kamara. Kamara's a bit of a 50-50 player. Very eager to get on the ball, create some trickery, but it's just that one touch, two touch sometimes that leads to his downfall. But he's earned the corner on this occasion.
It's a set-piece opportunity here. Is this the moment here for Green Gully? Whipped in towards the back post. Doyle underneath it. Gets it back across. Oh, what a chance that was for Iannucci. And while fresh off the bench, he's certainly got in the right position there. And you've got to say, he should have scored, Neil. What an opportunity.
Iannucci looking very lively in this first cameo appearance, so to speak. He's still got 30 or so minutes left, but should have finished it there. And you wouldn't expect a player of his stature, in terms of height, to get onto a header. But nonetheless, he squandered that opportunity. Eager to get some more opportunities, I'm sure.
Doyle goes back. Walker trying to play forwards, intercepted by Decker. Now an opportunity here for Clark. Edge of the box. Clips it back post. Yes, couldn't keep it alive. And well, for Oakleigh, they'll certainly be looking for that 2-goal buffer to be restored. Especially with a few little siders there for Iannucci, who's certainly had the impact that the Green Gully coaching staff would have been after so far. Aside from a goal, he's been very lively. Bernarda. Knowles with a strong challenge. Bernarda back to Doyle. Now across there. Lampard on the left. Iannucci. Doyle gets the ball out his feet well, looks over the top. Pantazopoulos is back. Big clearance away. Headed down again, Holmes. Clearance away, Kubalay, who's again just sat well in that defensive area position. That is fantastic from James Doyle. Kamara, he's onside. He's one-on-one with his defender. He skips past him really well and finds a cross, but just couldn't find the back of the net. And well, that is the danger he does possess. A little nippy touch ahead of Foschini, maybe just lacking the final product.
Footballing IQ on display. James Doyle spots out Mamadi Kamara. Kamara makes the perfectly timed run. Nippy pass, as you mentioned. Nippy touch, should I say. And, well, just a cross goal once again.
I've got to say, James Doyle has really looked like a player who's come on in leaps and bounds in the last few years since he burst on the scene as a youngster at the Eastern Lions. The ball comes into the box and well held there by Driscoll. A quick release now and Walker is away. Up this right-hand side, he's got Kamara in front of him. Holds it up. Back there to Adams. Forward pass, Hope just got underneath it, but Walker's still there. Hope tried to go back. Screams from the Gully players just to reset play there, but in the end they did still keep the ball. Adams. Ball over the top. Bernarda wasn't really looking at it. Cleared away. Adams again underneath it. Kubalay down. Holmes. Finds the feet of Decker. Holmes again picks out the run of Guest, who just hasn't really been able to impact the game as we know he can, Joe Guest. Of course, the former NPL Victoria Player of the Year. All the way back in 2019 now, but it was the last time we had a Player of the Year in NPL Victoria. First and only player you'd think ever to carry that title for 3 years in a row. There's the reigning champion of that award as the ball is fired miles over the bar from Joe Knowles. It might just have popped the Oakleigh Cannon attack there out for a goal kick. And well, again, good experience from Oakleigh. They've slowed this down. It was a bit more of a frantic start. They would be happy with this opening few minutes of the second period, aside from the chances that Gully have had. Doyle. Iannucci. Does well. Good slip. Bernarda in towards the box, but Feely really well off his line. Kamara's still here, though. Back to Hope. Whips it back post, but there's no one there. And in the end, cleared away.
Well, there we see James Doyle. He can be composed on the ball. He can also dribble through as well, as Driscoll lofts one over the sideline there into the, well, sort of corner of Oakleigh Cannons fans. A nice little contingent there, but the Cannons are really struggling to break this moment of transition. The counter-pressing nature that Green Gully like to implement in certain stages is by Stephen Downs has been very effective. They're just trying to find the final touch, the final sort of finish, as Bernarda was unable to loft it over Nick Feely, but Gully are definitely the aggressors so far.
Long throat, over the top. Clark, under pressure there. Tried to flick it in towards the middle. Cleared away. Oh, Knowles! Strike goes wide. Ready to really open up on that one. If that had flown into the top corner. Long ball over the top. Dylan underneath it. Flicked on there by Bernarda. Again, very high up and under at the moment from Oakleigh. It's been a real battle physically in that midfield. Decker tries the early delivery. Blocked. Comes back to Holmes. Skips past his man, but in the end, well, it was run back momentarily by Gully. But Oakleigh with a good bit of sustained pressure now. A good chance to cross here. Whipped in towards the middle. Way by Walker. Holmes, edge of the box. Clips it over. Knowles on the volley. Blocked by Walker. And out for a corner.
Well, there we are. Oakleigh looking very dangerous on the perimeter of the 18-yard box. Especially with Daniel Clark's hold-up play, really good at allowing the other Oakleigh Cannons attackers to make their way into that attacking region. I think we see a player down for Green Gully. Doesn't look to be much of a concern, though. And we should be back up and running through this corner.
Looks like Lampard there, who just got up a bit gingerly. Maybe just looking to give his side a bit of time to reset for this corner kick as Oakleigh, as we said, look to restore that 2-goal lead. Ball whipped in towards the near post. Headed away, but not out of the danger zone as yet as Clark flicks it on. And it's headed away off the goal line by Walker. It's a good period of sustained pressure here. Another set-piece opportunity arises. Ball whipped into the near post. Again, looked to be flicked on. And again, it's out for another corner. Can Gully see this out? They've been lively to start this second period. Oakleigh with this sustained period of pressure. Ball comes back out. Holmes uses his experience to turn well there and keep the attack moving forwards and then wins a throw. Very experienced there from a real veteran of the NPL. And another free kick opportunity here.
Well, we know Tyson Holmes. He is such an outstanding player. 2018 gold medalist of the NPL. He is just magnificent at what he does, be it in defensive positioning, midfield, and also can drive the play forward, can score plenty of goals too. But the Oakleigh Cannons really just soaking up the pressure here, not possessing a very unrelenting play style as we enter the 63rd minute of play.
He's just won everywhere he's gone. South Melbourne, Bentley Greens. Now looking to do the same at Oakleigh. The ball is whipped in towards the back post, and it actually clips the crossbar on its way over there from Joe Knowles. And well, that really could have been the moment there as Gully looked to play out of the back. Doyle just got away with that one. You just wonder when Chris Taylor will choose to go to the bench. As we said, the two main assets they've got, Nick Nyagoran and Chris Lucas, both know where the goals are. Long ball over the top. Bernardo underneath it. Dylan wins it initially. Holmes now over the top, and the goalkeeper will get there. Lampard stepping into midfield. Strong challenge. Play on, says the referee. And now slipped into Clark. He's just in a wide position there. Goes back in towards Decker, but in the end it's out for a corner. And again, Oakleigh, we've really had Gully pinned in this last 10 minutes or so.
Struggling to get it into their forward half, Green Gully. It's really been the pressure of Daniel Clark and Joe Knowles and Joe Guest as well, who hasn't had many distinct touches on the ball, but his positioning has been sublime. And we will see the aforementioned Guest on the set piece here.
Ball whipped in by Guest, in towards the back post again, headed away and out for a goal kick this time. The challenge for Oakleigh really always is, can you get Guest on the ball around the edge of the box? And that's where he does his damage. Prolific in front of goal, prolific in creating chances to score goals. Didn't quite hit the heights of his 2019 campaign last season, although was still a very solid performer. Was clipped over the top, headed away. Now played long, Doyle under pressure again. Goes back to his goalkeeper, who's forced to clear. Flicked on by Jago. Pantasopoulos again, getting into it. Knowles clips it through. Decker is offside. And Guest, that time, did get the ball in the box, but flag was enough to give Gully back the ball. And now a quick counter-attacking opportunities. Bernardo's down doing some calf stretches in the middle of the ground. He might be pretty close to calling it a night if that's starting to take place, as Walker hasn't really got much in front of him. Looked for the run of Jago. It was, to be fair, the right idea, but the execution was well off. You've got to say, Neil, aside from that 10-minute window at the end of the first half, Gully just haven't really offered enough. He did have those half chances early in this second half, but maybe just not keeping the ball consistently high enough up the ground.
It seems that Downs may need to turn it to plan B, if there is one. Well, you think there would be. Obviously, coaches of the NPL of a very high standard, but it just seems that Gully are really devoid of creating much opportunities here. I think, obviously, Liam Driscoll. Not sure if that was a trick or just pure mistake there, but then again, Green Gully just need to find something. They need to be reinvigorated in some way, shape or form. Could this be the moment?
That is quality from Doyle to win the ball and find the feet of Bernardo, who just couldn't quite keep it. And then what he could do was make sure he left a mark on Oakleigh. Bernardo evidently is the one that stayed down after that challenge. Bernardo, same stretch as he was doing in the middle of the pitch before. You've just got to think who is being prepared in the case that he isn't able to really see this game out. It's a free kick now. Got to say, that has moved about 5 yards forward from where the free kick was. Long ball over the top. Knowles. He's done well to win a throw there. Sheeny. Guest had defenders clipping at his ankles. Tried to find Knowles, bodied out of it by Walker, who just turns around asking why Knowles has gone down so easily. Potentially asking him if he's lost his gym membership over the summer. Clipped forward there by Driscoll. Walker gets it down. Kamara. Adams goes long. Bernardo just wasn't quite able to get it down. Oakleigh maybe just didn't quite deal with that as well as he could have. Bernardo under pressure, but Frashini does well. Couldn't quite keep it though. Walker has stayed down a little bit ginger after that challenge. Jago does take it quickly though. Lampard striking, bouncing, but held by Feely.
Well, if you have to resort to shots like that, you might be in a bit of strife here. Oakleigh just seemed to have locked up Gully here, coming out of the defensive regions. They're just really unable to create, and I think they've done the impossible, keeping Niall Bernarda quiet.
Knowles with a strike that time and held by the goalkeeper. You've got to say for Bernardo, he has just been so isolated. We said that in the first half. He hasn't really been able to get the ball and link up with anyone around the edge of the area. And that's where, again, he did his damage. Looks like Bernardo's eating some glucose or something at the moment as the ball comes over the edge of the box. Clark was a side up, and it was a good chance. Chris Taylor knows it. Leaning back in despair as he watched that ball sail over the crossbar. And those are the moments that you think back to if the game doesn't go your way. Just couldn't quite get it on target, Daniel Clark.
Clark has been a massive threat, obviously scored the opener. That's a wonderfully weighted ball by Josh Hope.
Well, Kamara into the box. This is Gully's moment. Saved by Feely and out for a corner. And Josh Hope again, causing problems. A wonderful forward pass. And he really has been dangerous, Josh Hope.
Well, we know that Josh Hope has sparked life into this fixture through his half-volley finish at the stroke of half-time, but he continues to show that he has an array of passing attributes that he can put on display here. But then again, Green Gully have got an awful lot of defenders in that box for the corner.
Lampard whips the ball into that back post again. Doyle trying to attack it, but headed away well. Jago is there. He'll have the throw in. He'll leave it, in fact, for Yanucci, it looks like. Green Gully just get themselves back into shape there after the set piece. Jago. Yanucci, who would certainly be still thinking about his chance to equalise with that header early in the second half. As we now tick into the 70th minute, still no signs of life on the Oakleigh Cannons bench. Gully have, of course, already used one of their changes as the ball slipped in towards Jago, but cleared away. Clark gets it down. Does well to keep it. Decker. Jago keeps it alive well. Blocked there by Decker again. And sliced away there by Luke Adams for a throw. Well, for Chris Taylor, you've got to excuse him for not thinking about making changes. He's pretty comfortable at the moment with his side shape and the way they're progressing. The ball's taken in with the throw. There's a high boot there from Clark, and that'll be taken there quickly by Adams. Is there something Gully have in this to come back into the contest? Long ball from Doyle. Headed away. Guest underneath it. Doyle rampaging in there. Jago gets it down. Kubalay wins it back. Decker. Knowles. Driving forwards here goes Joe Knowles, who's in towards the box. Oh, that's a great challenge there from Lampard. He's been really impressive tonight. It does look like Gully are readying a second change. It looks like it's going to be Brooks to come on as Driscoll gets the ball wide. Walker did well to get it down. Adams. Kamara under pressure. Does well to keep it. That's a real Elvis Kamsoba vibe about him, doesn't he? The way he really drives at players. He gets his head down. He's threatening with how he gets in at people. Similar to how he took the league by storm a few years ago. Even similar to a Marco Rojas type player where he's just so progressive and dynamic. Some good players to be comparing to, I guess. Of course, with Cam Sober, he's been fantastic this season at Sydney FC.
Well, I think it just really demonstrates that NPL players can do it when they're played in the right system. As we see Josh Hope making way for Ethan Brooks.
Well, that is an interesting change, but you got to say for Josh Hope, they'd be very pleased with his performance. First game back at competitive football at this level and scoring a goal as well.
It looks like Iannucci may have slotted into a false 9 role. Looks like
more as a number 10 behind Bernardo.
Maybe more of a number 10, but it seems that Ethan Brooks is going to be deployed on that right-hand side, and Kamara's gone to the left. So some interesting positional changes here. Could that perhaps be the difference maker? As free kick has been awarded against the Green Gully, and that's a yellow card.
Well, it looked rather innocuous at first viewing, but maybe some studs were raised in that challenge. Interesting there with Iannucci moving in towards a number 10 position is... There's a little bit of an extended break here after the challenge. Looks like it might have been Joe Knowles who was the one who copped the force of that challenge. ...15 minutes or 15 and a half minutes of normal time to play. It's currently 2-1 for the Oakleigh Cannons against Green Gully. Well, he's at the end of Joe Knowles' 9. He looks like he's pretty sore, though gingerly getting to his feet. Of course, he's the ready-made replacement on the bench in Chris Lucas, who could certainly come on and cause some problems if given the opportunity. He does get up gingerly to Knowles. Set piece here. Whipped in towards the back post. Oh, Clark, he had a good chance. Just came to him, I think, surprisingly. Looks like for a moment he wasn't going to get near that, but all of a sudden it just fell at his head, and it was a good opportunity there. Clark down. Decker. Silky. Gets it into the area, but Driscoll holds. Iannucci. Adams. High up and under. Bernardo underneath it. Flicks it downwards. Iannucci couldn't quite get there. Guest. Kublai clips it forward. Guest. He was onside. Cuts inside. Now a chance for Clark. Lined it up. Couldn't quite get the shot away, and that was a foul, surely. There on James Doyle. It does look like the first change is going to be made by the Oakleigh Cannons. And it's Scott Lockhead, the New Zealander, who is going to come on here. So the Scotsman, rather, formerly of Pascoe Vale. Getting confused with Tony Lockhead, of course, the former All Whites defender. As the goal scorer Wade Decker comes off, another really good performance from him. And what a striker was to open his account for the season.
Well, I think there's no better player to score the opener. Wonderful curled effort into the bottom right corner. Beat Liam Driscoll. I think it was a tremendous strike, and he should be very happy with his performance. A little bit quieter in the second half, but he's done his shift. He scored the opener, and that's why Oakleigh are leading right now.
Well, of course, Lockhead spent time at Pascoe Vale last season. They were having a great campaign before the COVID stop. Fashini, long throw, over the top, headed away. Forward again for Fashini. Doyle again, so much class on the ball. Great forward pass as well. Bernardo. One back well by Jago. Now the ball's clipped forward. Brooks, first real contribution. It's a good ball. There's just no one there at the back post. You can just see Stevie Laurie, the Green Gully assistant, asking why no one was making the run. What a great delivery it was, as they do look to make that final change. And it's going to be Matthew Crooks to come on. And coming off is Yared Abatu, who's really had a very solid game in that midfield, hasn't he?
Yes, I think for his first competitive fixture for Green Gully, he's looked quite composed in that defensive midfield position. Obviously, Crooks was actually born in the Northern Territory, formerly of the Bentley Greens. We know what he can provide, and could he provide that extra bit of energy that the Gully do need? They've got 12 minutes to find an equaliser. Can they do it?
He certainly was a dynamic player at the Bentley Greens, played across the fullback and, of course, the midfield, as he's gone into now. Brooks. Jago goes back there to Adams. Bernarda, wide. Camera now looking to drive in towards the box. Still going his Camera. 1-2 in towards the area. Goes back again. Headed clear. Comes out to the edge of the box. Jago gets it down well. Now it's out to Walker. Delivers inwards. Flicked on. Bernarda gets it down well in that tight area. Still on the ball here, Gully. As Brooks delivers. And it just found its way onto the roof of the net. Nick Feely was relatively worried, but was certainly relieved to see it go out for a goal kick.
Well, there we saw Noel Bernardo making his first real sort of contribution in the second half after he latched onto that high ball. I think, well, you could definitely tell that Oakleigh are targeting the perimeter of the 18-yard box, as you can see before. Everyone just clamping onto Iannucci. And, well, it's certainly the momentum is starting to sway ever so slightly. Gully just need that distinct opportunity to perhaps get that coveted equaliser.
Long ball high and over the top. Clark is underneath it. Well done by Lampard again. The drive forward, but given away there. Is this their moment maybe? Clark, who's held the ball up so well tonight. Surely offside there from Williams. Well, right now, there's a few players really contending, you'd say, for the best on ground for tonight. I've got to say, I've really liked Lampard's game at Green Gully. Very safe and accomplished. Good going forwards. For Oakleigh, you'd probably say Daniel Clark. His goal and his work rate's been exceptional tonight. Very solid at the back as well. Knowles has been industrious. He wins a free kick. Hard-working performance from Joe Knowles tonight.
Joe Knowles, very, very big hard worker. Obviously, he's had to do the hard yards and the academy sides of Perth Glory, and obviously also played as straight at ECU Joondalup. Now actually have merged with the Northern Redbacks, and they will be known as, I think, Perth Red Star, or something along those lines. But yeah, Joe Knowles is a fantastic worker, and I think another shout for best on ground has to be James Doyle. Despite conceding 2 goals, he's looked very lively.
Great call. Doyle's been fantastic tonight as the ball goes in towards the area. Now at the back post, Brooks, can he create something? He gets to the touchline and just again couldn't quite find the space, and in the end it's out for a goal kick. And well, Gully, they've had the ball in that position a few times in the second half. They just haven't quite been able to find the way through. Disappointment again as it's out for a goal kick.
Well, yeah, I think it's with Ethan Brooks. He's a very direct player. He hasn't been able to create the space. So maybe that's just a testament to Matthew Fascini's fantastic defensive and aerial ability. But Ethan Brooks just slowly starting to get into this game. There was a call for a penalty on that byline, but to no avail.
Out for another throw. So again, maybe an opportunity here. Taken long by Williams. Clark. Couldn't quite keep it. Cleared away Fashini, long ball over the top, headed clear. Adams goes wide, Brooks will chase it. And now it's Brooks driving forward here. But again, Joe Guest getting back in the nick of time. Finding Matthew Fashini, goes long over the top. Clark under pressure from Adams. Now it's Holmes. Guest held on to it too long. Bernarda, is this his moment? Hasn't had many sights at goal. And didn't really get one that time either. Out to it quickly though. Doyle, composed. Lampard couldn't keep it. Holmes forward again with Doyle uncompromising. Kamara. Now it's Yanucci. Is this their moment? He strikes it! He scored it! Oh, it's brilliant from Gianluca Yanucci! And the celebrations to match. Green Gully are level. They've brought it back from the dead. And they've fought themselves to 2-2.
Gianluca Iannucci! What a strike! It's two ex-Melbourne victory players who have scored absolute bangers tonight. And who else? He's done them in Asia. He can certainly do them on a cold Friday night at Jack Edwards Reserve.
What a strike it was from Yanucci. Absolutely outstanding. He was given the time and space on the edge of the box, and boy, did he punish. And well, the two lads with a lot to prove, Yanucci and Hope, dropping into the NPL and trying to establish themselves as senior footballers, and they've both done a job. Now, there is a little bit of discussion going on here between the referee and his assistant. I'm not quite sure what it was about. In the absence of VAR, we're not really going to know, but there is an extensive discussion going on. Now, Andrew Memorakis is going to jog across. And he is going to restart this game. So nothing undoing. It's 2-2. And there's all to play for now in these final 5 minutes. What a turnaround from the away side. They looked out and buried. But the substitute, Gianluca Iannucci, has certainly done the damage tonight. What a strike it was, Neil, and what a way to introduce yourself to the club and to the NPL in Victoria. He's been known around the leagues as a bit of a prodigy for a while. He's been in the systems at Victorian City. He's played youth internationals for Australia. He's scored in the Asian Champions League, as we've said. In the absence of a national second division, this is his shot at getting himself back into the A-League as Brooks drives at his man now. Imagine the scenes if they were able to get a winner here as Brooks cuts it across. Not quite dealt with. Bernarda's there, but again it's cleared. Fashini long. Crooks underneath, it couldn't quite keep it. Lockhead. Hunting like dogs there at Green Gully. Bernarda tried a little reverse flick. Good challenge there from Pantazopoulos. Doyle. This really has lifted now late in this second half as the ball slipped in. It's Brooks into the touchline. He couldn't quite find the pass in the middle. Brooks will leave it. He was offside. The ball's clipped in. Is it a handball? It is! Andrew Memorakis points to the spot, and Green Gully have the chance to take the lead. What an incredible turn of events it's been. And Chris Taylor and the Oakleigh Cannons can scarcely believe it. What a moment this will be.
Can you believe it? Matthew Fashini, arms flailing, blatant penalty, handball. The comeback of all comebacks is coming, potentially. But now Bernarda, can he be the man to put Green Gully in front and signal a new era for the Cavaliers?
Bernarda, what a way this would be to introduce yourself to your new club. to give Gully the lead and potentially, surely, the 3 points. It's just so cool! Niall Bernarda puts Green Gully in front from 2 goals down to 3-2 up. 2 in the final 5 minutes. And for a side who was so fancied coming into this campaign with so much to prove, they looked dead and buried tonight, but they found a way back. Oakleigh make a change. It's Nick Nyagoran who is going to come on. He's got 2 minutes of normal time. Tyson Holmes comes off. Absolutely solemn is the Oakleigh Cannon skipper. He can't believe it.
I think this could be one of the games of the year. Only 3 games have been played this season, and this is up there. Perhaps.
Here we go. A minute of normal time remaining. Williams goes long, over the top. Nyagoran in there. Headed away, Lockhead. Knowles turns, he beats his man, he drives into a tight area, but it's well won back. And now a chance for Jago to come forward. He's been so energetic tonight. Over the top towards Bernarda, who's putting Dylan under immense pressure. These seconds are going to feel like hours for Green Gully as we tick towards the final whistle. Walker's got time. Finds Brooks, who's had a really good impact off the bench. So has all their substitutions. Nyagoran. Kubalay under pressure. Looks up. Clips it over the top. Guest is into a good position here. Can he find a bit of space to shoot? He's under pressure. He goes back to Knowles, who's just closed down well there on the edge of the area. 4 minutes of added time to be played. It won't be needed if Nyagoran can get that on target, but he just couldn't quite find the strike. What a moment that would have been on his debut for the Oakleigh Cannons. Whipped in again, cleared away. Fashini on the edge of the box. Sizes one up, but it's easily held, and my word, will Nick Nyagoran be thinking about that one as he goes to sleep tonight.
What a tantalizing couple of minutes we've had here. I don't think words can describe it more accurately than Forza NPL Victoria. This is tremendous. And can Green Gully hold on here? Now Bernardo breaks away from his man!
What a chance. He's into the area here, holds on to it. Can he find the cutback? He gets it to Camera, who beats his man, but couldn't quite get in towards a shooting position. And now it's a chance here for Oakleigh to come forwards. The long ball searching for Nyagoran. And again, it's cleared, and again, it's out for a throw. There just isn't long. Headed clear. Williams. Knowles. Beats his man. He's delivered it in towards the box. It's up and under again. Jago clears away. And Brooks comes away. He'll want to see this one out. Boy, it's been frantic, Neil.
It's frantic as always. And Lockhead will find Fashini. Searching balls into the 18-yard area, you would expect. Nyagoran unable to latch onto it. Liam Driscoll will drop to the floor as Green Gully have a moment of reprieve here. The energy is high, the intensity is high, and the football is at a high level.
What a way to start the season. Seconds remaining here. Long ball from Feely, searching for the likes of Guest, the likes of Nyagoran. Cleared away again. The Gully bench up, hands to their mouths, waiting for this final whistle. All over the top again, headed clear a second time. Hoofed away by Jago. One-on-one here is Dylan with Bernardo. He goes back to his goalkeeper. Is there time for one last launch? Nyagoran again, the focal point, Guest is in towards the area, gets it under control. He had the pass on there to Pansopoulos, but he just couldn't quite find the space. Kubalay. High up and under again. Nygoran looks to flick. Yanucci clears. Feely. Again long. Again Nygoran the target. Knowles goes down. Referee says play on. Mimirakis looks at his watch. Feely again. It's just like it's pinball in towards that back post. Williams high up and under. Oh, and the goalkeeper had to deal with it. And dealt with it well enough. It's a corner. This is it.
This game has brought every single emotion, every single possible fragment of your imagination cannot be described. Nick Feely is up for the corner.
This is what we want to see.
This is what you want to see.
Ball's whipped in again. Feely, I think he's just gone and thrown Jago to the ground. A little bit overzealous. And it is all over. Green Gully with a massive, massive turnaround here. From 2 goals down, they found a way back. And with a double in the final 5 minutes, debut goals from Josh Hope, Gianluca Iannucci, and of course, Nail Bernarda from the penalty spot has ensured that Gully come away with 3 points. Neil, we're just recovering our breath. Oakleigh threw everything there at the end, but Green Gully have done a job tonight. What a way to start the season.
Have they done the impossible? Perhaps. But this is a side that has had no player in that starting 11 over the age of 30. In fact, all players who played today, all very young, very energized. This is a side of players who perhaps, in the eyes of A-League clubs, didn't cut it. At least a couple. And it was 3 of those players who actually scored this evening. Bernarda, Josh Hope, and Gianluca Iannucci. Absolutely stunning. But let's not discount the Oakleigh Cannons. They threw everything at it. They were probably on top for 60 minutes out of the 90. And they just faltered in those last few minutes. They were just disorganized at the back. They were just scampering for balls, loose balls, etc. But, Brandon, I guess you can summarize your thoughts in the most succinct way possible. How would you describe Oakleigh's sort of collapse?
Well, I mean, it just didn't look like it was going to happen for such a long time. They started the second half relatively well. Gully had those early chances, but then after that, it just looked so secure. They were searching for that winner. But like we saw at the end of that first half, you can see the Gully side really have that camaraderie and that team chemistry. They fought for each other at the end there. They were hunting that 3 points. And in the end, they got it. And some really cool, calm and collected operators there. What a penalty it was from Bernarda at the end. Talk about pressure. New club in the spotlight. 88th minute to win the game. And he was just so composed. What a finish.
Nail Bernarda, he just never gives up. Unrelenting. You know, he was doing some calf stretches, but then he just kept on going. And he scored the penalty at the end. And that's the makings of a stunning player. And he's got 1 for the season. May he have more. But full-time here at Jack Edwards Reserve, it's Oakleigh 2, Gully 3. And make sure you tune into the NPL TV for the rest of the round. Big clash tomorrow. Avondale taking on Bentley Greens at Avenger Park. But Brandon, I guess your final comments as we depart this broadcast or leave?
Thank you, Neil. What a night it was. Plenty to be excited about. And if that is an indicator of what's to come this season, there's plenty in store for the NPL in Victoria. We're hoping it will be a full one, and we're hoping we will see an end. And Gully will be right there abouts if they can continue this vein of form tonight. The final score, Green Gully 3 and Oakleigh 2. From the commentary team, Brandon Galgano and Neil Simons. It's goodbye for now.